to people with disabilities the same as you talk to anyone else. No need to make it weird.
Disability. It's been called the silent D in diversity. And after a year of talking about how important it is for institutions and businesses to focus on diversity, I thought it was time to highlight those who our society all too often leaves out. Now, you might not know this, but July is Disability Pride Month. And today I'm joined by a woman named Emily Ladau. She is an activist, a public speaker, and an author. And she's here to kind of give us the scoop on how to be a better ally to our disabled community members. So Emily, thank you so much for joining me. I want you to first introduce yourself to us. I know you've been a disability advocate since you were 10 years old.
That's right. Noelle, I am so excited to be here. And what you can't see, but what is below the screen is that I am a wheelchair user. So I am one in 4 American adults who has a disability. My disability specifically is a physical disability. So that means that I use a wheelchair to get around in the world.
And 10 years old, you decided, okay, I need to go out and start speaking about my disability. Talk to me a little bit about what Disability Pride Month means to you.
I think that my understanding of disability pride has evolved as I've evolved over the years, right? So society looks down upon disability. And for me, that meant that I internalized looking down upon disability. I did not understand disability as something that was a positive part of my identity until much later in life when I began connecting with a broader community of other people with disabilities. When I was born, the only person in my life with a disability, and even this is rare, was my mother. My mother shares the same disability that I do. So I had a bit of an advantage in that I was able to see a disabled role model, a disabled adult out and about in the world. But it wasn't until I really started to connect with peers with disabilities and realized that I'm part of a community, a beautiful and diverse community, that I began to feel this really deep sense of pride in this part of who I am, this part of my identity.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there because, you know, I have a cousin who's disabled. I have a friend who's disabled who actually connected me with you so that we could have this conversation here. And they were honestly the only 2 people in my life that I had, you know, had experience with. And I think, you know, if you don't have that, then sometimes, you know, the unknown can be a little uncomfortable for some people, which it definitely shouldn't be. And I know you have a podcast, you have a blog called Words I Wheel By, which I just love that title. Talk to me about who you're trying to reach on those platforms.
So the truth is that I'm trying to reach everybody. I think that we don't recognize that disability is a part of everyone's lives, whether or not the disability is apparent like mine, I use a wheelchair, or non-apparent, something that you can't see, perhaps somebody who is autistic, right? You might not notice that disability, but we all have someone in our lives, whether we recognize it or not, and maybe it's even ourselves. We just haven't gotten around to identifying as disabled yet. And so for me, in all of the work that I do, I'm trying to reach anyone who I can who needs to hear and learn and understand what the disability experience is like. And I have a saying that I like to use. It's that if we want the world to be accessible to the disability community, then let's, as people with disabilities, make our experiences accessible and relatable to the people around us, right? We can do our part as disabled people, especially during Disability Pride Month, to really own our identities and share our stories. And so when I'm writing, when I'm podcasting, my hope is that anyone who's willing to listen and learn, I want to meet them where they're at.
Well, I know you did a lot of writing. You have a book that's coming out this fall. It's called Demystifying Disability. I honestly think we could all use this on our bookshelves. It's going to be available on Amazon and all sorts of different platforms. Give us an idea of what we're going to find inside your book.
Absolutely. So my goal in writing this book was really to create a friendly and approachable primer to disability. There was nothing like that currently on shelves, although there tons of media by disabled people, but sometimes it feels really scary. As you were mentioning before, it's unfamiliar, it can be uncomfortable. Where do we start? I wanted to give people a judgment-free space where they can start, where they can get questions answered about language and disability, where they can get questions answered about what disability actually is, things about etiquette, things about disability in the media, a little bit of disability history. This is a really great starting point for anybody who has questions and they're afraid to ask those questions. I want people to feel like disability isn't scary. It's just another part of the human experience.
I think in the book there are a couple of points that you make about, what to do when you're interacting with someone with a disability. And I think the number one point that you come out with is be your usual self. You don't have to speak any differently. You don't have to speak slower or louder than usual. I know that that's something I'm sure you have encountered over the course of your life.
Absolutely. I think that people are unsure how to interact with disabled people, but be your usual self really is the best advice that I can give, because a disabled person is just that, a person. Interact with them in the same way that you would interact with someone who you know to be non-disabled.
Emily, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Happy Disability Pride Month. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy Disability Pride Month.
We'll be right back.